Hey guys, well today I'm out in the Secan again, working with the lathe. I've been practicing. Look, you can tell. I was messing around a little bit, made a spinny top thing, and its surface finish is just crap. I was just trying to get my muscle memory back, but when I did get it back, I did this. Now this has a very specific purpose. This will be replacing my tool post holder. Tool post holder. Yes. So I'll have to break that apart to show you guys, and I can't break that apart yet because I got to cut a taper that exactly matches this. So I'm not going to adjust any of this. But anyways, there is a stud that comes up out of this. It's got a casting on it about, I don't know, I think it was 0.385 or something tall. And this will sit on there. And then what I'm going to do is machine a piece of brass with this taper on the inside. And then I'm going to cut the brass into 4 pieces. Maybe, yeah, 4 should do it. And then create a groove in it, create a groove before I cut it. And then put an O-ring on it, and then what will happen is the brass will slide on this. There will be a nut on the top that tightens it down, and as it tapers down, it gets pushed outwards. So I'm going to have to build some rings that fit over this with about this inner diameter, this piece right here. And then you can set it down. It'll have a screw or 2 in it to set your height. And then when you tighten the nut down on the top, it pushes the flare or the taper piece down and locks the piece in place. That is what I'm after. To buy one, just the piece, not even the attachments that hold your tools. To buy a piece for this lathe, this size of lathe, is $180. I can build this myself. Way cheaper. I didn't film making this because I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it, but now that I've got a game plan in my brain, I am going to record the rest of it. So this started off as this, well, part of that there. That piece was originally going to be the horn of my mild steel anvil. I think I've got videos of that. They will be on my other channel now. May the forge be with you. I pulled all my forging videos off of my main channel and built its own channel for it. But yes, that's what that was. And there was a really rough, just oxypropane torch cut on the one end. I cleaned that up, and then I started messing around, getting a couple measurements, and then I machined this. So yeah, it's my first time cutting a taper. And I'd say that turned out pretty freaking good. I used 60 grit, 100 grit, 220, and then 400 as a finish. And I'd say that came out pretty decent. It's not the best. This is yet to be finished. But, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm learning. Focus. Come on. There you go. So anyways, brass. This is what I'm going to use as the taper lock. Why brass? Because it's softer than steel, and this stuff will, well, it won't cut into the steel, or it shouldn't. So that's why I opted for brass. This stuff is 1.5 inches by 4 inches. Ridiculously expensive. Chock right full of gravity. This stuff, my cost on it is $7.50 an inch. So I only got 4 inches of it. That will allow me to clamp it in here and make one mistake. So I'm hopefully not going to make any mistakes, but I might. So that's why I opted for well, the piece I need. This taper is 1.25 inches from here to here, so I'm going to probably cut about a 1-inch taper, and hopefully it works. So, wish me luck. Let's get to it. Alright, I'll set you guys up there. Hopefully we don't get a whole bunch of vibrations. But I guess we'll find out. So these should both be flat. So let's go ahead and get this chucked up. I'm so excited. Freaking love machining. One thing that I do not know is the cutting speed of brass, so I guess I'll just have to play with it. Or, you know, I could do what any normal person would do and look it up. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Though, I don't know what my speed is on the lathe. Experimentation it is. I guess I'll do a facing cut. And I'll go backwards because I do not want to adjust this. I will throw my taper off. And I don't want to spend like 20 minutes setting up the taper again. Contact! So, looks like, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. You guys can see that little nub in there? This thing is, you have to put shims and stuff underneath it to get it to work. And I don't have proper, like, super specific size stuff. So I'm constantly having to use other tools to lift up and try to set the right height. But it's obviously not the right height. Zoom. Ooh, other way. Woo, too close. Yeah, so that is not not centered. It's close, but it's not. And with my tooling, the one that I'm building right now, I should be able to eliminate that because it's going to have a screw to set the height, and then you torque it down, and this taper will expand and clamp that ring that I'm going to build that holds the tools. So I've got it all mapped out in my brain. I just need to take my brain and convert it to stuff that I can put my hands on. So yeah, I guess I'm going to drill a pilot hole and then I shall start the inside taper. So excited to be using the lathe. Awesome. Put on yield gloves. I know you're not supposed to wear gloves when you're doing machining work because rotations, grab the glove, frickin' rip your arm off. But I'm careful. Actually, who was I watching? I can't remember. I can't remember who I was watching. But yeah, they were using gloves with their lathe and their drill press, and they were getting in right close and stuff with it. And I was like, on the edge of my seat the whole time. So, you know what, maybe I won't use the gloves just because I don't want to give any of you guys a heart attack. But on the other hand, blood equals ratings. Just kidding. Off they come. Yeah, I almost broke my finger today, so it's not doing so good. Right in there, it freaking hurts. So I want to avoid further injury. So anyways, I'll get the center drilled, and then we can go ahead and start turning our inside taper, and Bob should be your uncle. Okay, so I got my nice taper made there. I've got the O-ring groove and the O-ring installed, but I'm going to have to uninstall that now because I now need to cut this into 4s. And then like it's a really nice fitting taper, like just freaking beautiful. Very, very tight, no play in it at all. So yeah, I'm really stoked about that. So my idea with this is, with this being split into 4 and then the O-ring on there, the O-ring is going to keep these 4 pieces together, and then when you tighten a nut down on the top, because of the way the tapers are, they'll flare out and then they'll clamp onto whatever is around this. So that is how I'm building my tool post holder. Yeah, so this should just slip right over the stock one. I'll bring that into shot. Right like that. Loosen this guy off. Take this guy off. Could probably even still utilize this piece. Yeah. Ah, that's funny. It's like the same outer diameter. That's really funny. So then this guy comes off. And now this will go onto there just like that. Yeah, that should work. I might, yeah, I might have to take this down a little bit. But yeah, that's basically how it's going to work. And then when you tighten this down, the brass piece will travel down and flare out. And those rings that I'm going to make that actually hold the tools will be held in place. Like you're not moving this at all. You're just not. It's not happening. So I think that'll work pretty good. Really excited. My first major lathe project, and it's working. It's working. Yeah. May have to take this down unless that, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's solid. That is not going anywhere. Yeah. And I'm basing this idea off of I've seen, well, when I used to work at the tire shop, some of you guys will remember, the older subscribers will remember, I used to build exhaust there, and we used exhaust flaring things that are pretty much the same as what I'm building here out of this brass. There's a tapered piece like this with a rod on the end of it, and the rod gets, or a piston, no, a hydraulic ram shaft gets pulled, and it pulls this piece back, and then the tapered, or the slotted piece, as the tapered section gets drawn into it, it opens up, and that's how it flares or expands the tubing. Same principle, except I'm not going to be able to expand the rings that I'm going to build for this. It's just going to hold them really secure. And this should, what is this, 1.375 outer diameter. So it's beef. It's beef. It's going to be a lot stronger than this, and it'll be a lot cheaper than a tool post holder with a dovetail in it, because I priced those out, and other than the mini ones that are for like a 6x10 or a 7x10 lathe, totally just brain farted. The mini ones, which are for that small lathe, will not fit mine. They're like 44 millimeters. They're freaking tiny. So I need something bigger, and one for an adequate size lathe. Just this piece with the taper on it is like $180. If I was to buy that with 4 attachments to hold tooling, then I'm looking at about $400. So I'll be able to build this with what I've got kicking around, and for a lot cheaper. Yeah, the only thing is I might have to get something a little bit thicker than this. think this is 2-inch. That's just covered. I think this is 2-inch. No, 2.5. So what I might do is pick up a piece of 3-inch, and that'll give me a nice base. Yeah, so this is just over 3 inches here. This is 3.025. Might have some schmoo on it. 3.020. So yeah, if I pick up a piece of 3-inch round stock, what I was thinking about is boring a groove all around it, and then I can fit stuff like this in there, and ooh, I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to build that as well, because if I want to run tooling all the way around, I'm gonna have to have pegs in there for the height adjustment. So I got a little bit of work to do mentally, and that sounded wrong. I got a little bit of figuring to do as to how I'm going to build the ring. Well, actually I could build a few of them. One thing I'm going to do is build probably 2 rings. One will be for holding square tooling, and the other will be for boring bars, because setting them up like this is stupid. I have to grind 2 flat sections into them, and then I have to hope and pray that it's at the right angle to cut properly. Luckily this one was, but if I had a round hole, like, of course, if I had a piece of round stock with a hole in it to use to specifically hold boring bars, that would be fantastic. So that's what I'm going for. I wanted to build it as simple as I could, and I'm pretty sure I nailed it for the simplicity. Yeah, not too bad. First time I've ever cut a taper, and first time I've ever cut a matching taper. I think that's just way too cool. So I did take this copper brass piece down a little bit. It was lining up perfect, and you couldn't even catch your nail on it. But this piece was razor sharp, and it's still a little on the sharp side. And I didn't want to, like, just from sanding it, I rolled the edge over. So I figured that I would take that back a little bit. It's not going to affect it at all. There is no strength down here for the gripping. Most of it's going to be probably up in this area here. So yeah, I guess next step would be to start fabricating those rings, but I need a little bit of material for that. But yeah, I'm having fun. This is a really enjoyable project. And best of all, saving a lot of money. For now, this will work. I've ordered some proper tooling, some carbide tipped pieces, not tipped, some tooling that uses carbide inserts. So it'll be a lot better. Like, I've had to sharpen this. I had to sharpen this one. The edge was all munged up on it, so I redressed the edges and put a nice point onto it. Yeah, a lot of this tooling it's just got nicks and stuff. This one's completely broken. That's probably why I was using it as a spacer. And this one's got a nick on the end of it too. You can see right there. So I've got tooling, it's just it needs dressing. But I figured those carbide tipped or carbide insert ones will be a lot better. I bust an end off it. Don't worry about grinding it, just throw the carbide insert away and put on a new one. So I can't wait to start getting really heavy into the lathing and machining. Next thing I want to get is a mill. So bad, I want a mill so bad. But that'll come eventually. I'm gonna have to find a shop to rent and do all this stuff in. But that's not a big deal. Anyways, I think that will do it for tonight. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.